right, welcome back everyone to the Crestwood Board of Education study session. And we just got out of closed session, so I need a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Sabah. Any second? Thank you, Mrs. Fawaz. So I have a motion from Mr. Sabah. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And a second from Mrs. Fawaz. Any discussion?
That was her.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, and now I need a motion to adjourn our study session.
So moved.
So
Thank
moved.
you.
Support.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. So we're going to go right into our meeting. As soon as Mr. Green tells me we're ready, and we're ready. All right, so give me 1 second now. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Crestwood Board of Education to order at 7:11. And I ask you to join us and stand for the pledge. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Hold on, let me move out of the way.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mrs. Janoon, can you please take roll?
Mrs. Berry?
Yes, here.
Mrs. Elzayat is absent. Mrs. Fawaz? Here. Mr. Garcia is absent. Myself, I'm here. Ms. Kaminsky?
Here.
Mr. Saba?
Here.
Thank
Chair,
you.
you have a quorum.
Okay, and Mrs. Janoon, can you do the consent agenda, please?
Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed on the consent agenda, which include the August 23rd, 2021 board agenda, the minutes from the study session on Monday, August 9th, 2021, and the minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, August 9th, 2021.
Do I have a motion?
I made
So
a
moved.
motion. Who wants to
She-
support?
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I said, oh. Support.
Okay, thank you. So I have a motion by Mr. Sabah and a second by Mrs. Janoon that the Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed on the consent agenda, which include the August 23rd, 2021 board agenda, the minutes from the study session on Monday, August 9th, 2021, and the minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, August 9th, 2021. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And the next item is the business report. Mrs. Morgan.
Thank you. Mine's relatively short compared to.
I had to compete from last week.
I
your
know.
Last meeting.
Number 1, approval of requisitions. The attached list of requisitions are items that buildings or departments would like to purchase for their upcoming needs. The requisitions have been gone through all the appropriate approval processes and have been approved by administration for purchase. In addition, there are funds available to make these purchases. Once the requisitions are approved, they will be processed and purchase orders will be sent out.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the requisitions per attachment 4A1.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Janoon. I have a motion from Mr. Slaba and a support from Mrs. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the requisitions per attachment 4A1. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any nays? Motion's passed.
Thank you. Number 2, approval of confirming purchase orders. The attached confirming purchase orders are items that needed to be processed prior to the board approval. These purchases consisted of equipment needed for the 2021-22 football season and classroom furniture.
Mrs.
Ms.
Chair?
Kaminsky?
Yes, Mrs. Janoon.
Ms. Berry? Oh,
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Berry, she got you.
okay.
I
Go ahead.
recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the confirming purchase orders per attachment 4A2. Support.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mrs. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the confirming purchase orders per attachment 4A2. I'm sorry, and supported by Mrs. Fawaz. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3, approval of Building Bridges contract. Crestwood School District has utilized Building Bridges Therapy Center for the past several years to provide hard-to-obtain specialized services. The district would like to continue to utilize the company to provide occupational and physical therapy to students as required based on their need. The duration of this contract would be through June 30th of 2022. The cost of the services is comparable to other companies in the area and would only be utilized on an as-needed basis.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Janoon.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the one-year contract with Building Bridges Therapy Center for the 21-22 school year as per attachment 4A3.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. I have a motion from Mrs. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the one-year contract with Building Bridges Therapy Center for the 21-22 school year as per attachment 4A3. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Yes, Mr. Sabah.
So I did read somewhere that we've had one student that's utilized these services?
Yes.
Okay. And it's on a,
It's based, I'm sorry, it's
Go
based
ahead.
on their IEPs, so it's on an as-needed basis.
okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
Of course.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Number 4, approval of Metropolitan Detroit Bureau of School Studies membership for Crestwood. School District has been a long-standing member of the Metro Bureau, which is a consortium of educational institutions dedicated to serving and improving school management through unique support services and cooperative information exchange. The central mission of the Metro Bureau is to support its members through the development of human resources to improve student learning, enhance leadership skills, and embrace diversity while creating additional financial resources with cost-effective practices and providing accurate data for negotiations and ongoing operations of member organizations. The membership cost for the 2021-2022 school year is $2,588.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Sliva.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the membership renewal to the Metropolitan Detroit Bureau of School Studies for the 2021-2022 school year in the amount of $2,588.00. See attachment 4A4.
Support.
Support.
Thank you. I don't know who did it first. I heard Mrs. Berry.
That's fine.
So I have a motion on the board by Mr. Saba that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the membership renewal to the Metropolitan Detroit Bureau of School Studies for the 2021-2022 school year in the amount of $2,588. See attachment 4A4. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, approval of elementary additions. The Crestwood School District would like to continue working with Ayersman to develop plans and facilitate the addition of the elementary buildings. These additions will create instructional space, enhancing the learning environment for all students. The plans will include 4 additional classrooms and restrooms at Highview Elementary, 3 additional classrooms and restrooms at Hillcrest Elementary, and 5 additional classrooms at Kinloch Elementary. The budgets for the project are fluid. However, all bid awards and projected expenditures will be approved by the board. The budget forecast has been attached for your review and will continuously be updated as costs become fixed. The project will be funded through ESSER 2 funds and will not be impacting the general fund budget.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Janoon.
recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve district administration to move forward with the plans for the elementary school additions as per attachment 4A5.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. I have a motion from Mrs. Janoon, supported by Mrs. Berry, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve district administration to move forward with the plans for the elementary school additions as per attachment 4A5. Any discussion?
Nothing more than I'd just like to reiterate the point that I made earlier, please, because I don't think we should go any further until we figure that out.
Yep.
And just to reiterate to the public, it's just nothing more than the additions that we're making to make sure that we have the opportunities to build up from that addition in the future if need be, so that we don't have the same problem we currently have with the existing buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Sabah. Mrs. Janoon.
Well, I just want to say that we are using ESSER funding to move forward with this project, which is, you know, space is, we need the space for the buildings. I do like the idea of making sure that, you know, if in the future we did want to build up, that it was, you know, we know what that cost would be. So are we looking to still vote on this as is what I'm curious, and move forward with this, with the contingency that we get that cost?
I don't think it would change anything.
Okay.
You know, we still need to continue with the project, but I
Okay.
just for our own knowledge.
Okay.
We will get that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion has passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am finished with my report.
Well, thank you, Penny. And now, I suggest everyone get something to drink, because we're going to be hearing from Dr. Lazar.
For a little while.
Well, this is the fun part. This is where we get to talk about growing our family here at Crestwood, so that always puts me in a good mood. So our first action item today is for the appointment of a custodian, Miss Jane Cusack. Ms. Cusack has been a member of the food service department at Crestwood Schools for the past 6 years. She is dedicated to all of her jobs and likes to step in and help wherever help is needed.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Sabo.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Miss Jane Cusack as a custodian according to the custodial contract. Step 1, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A1.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Fawaz. I have a motion from Mr. Saba and a second by Mrs. Fawaz, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Jane Cusack as a custodian. According to the custodial contract, step 1, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A1. Any discussion?
I do have a question for Dr. Lazar.
Yes.
So this is an internal move,
Yes,
correct?
Mhm.
Do we still do the criminal background checks, or is that something we're doing,
that's just a statement that
just a statement that you
it's
put
easier to
together?
keep on there for consistency.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was reading it. I'm thinking.
No,
this is
you're,
just a
yes.
lateral move.
So
Okay.
she would have all her documentation already required.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Our second action item is for the approval of a custodian as well, Mr. Zachary Betchler. Mr. Betchler has experience working in landscaping and custodial positions, as well as working on assembly lines in the automotive industry.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Janine.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zachary Batchelor as a custodian according to the custodial contract. Step 1, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A2.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table from Mrs. Janoon, seconded by Mrs. Berry, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zachary Betchler as a custodian according to the custodial contract. Step 1, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A2. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Thank you very much.
Our third action item today is for the approval of an art teacher at Highview Elementary, Ms. Reem Nahas. Ms. Nahas earned her bachelor degree in fine arts from Wayne State University and her teaching certification from Schoolcraft College. She has served as a KA art teacher focusing on teamwork, time management, and organization through the use of Michigan Visual Arts Standards. She supports the submission of her students' artwork to art shows and galleries to support and encourage their achievements in the arts.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Fawaz.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Reem Nahas as an art teacher for the 2021-22 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5.A.3.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Janoon. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Fawaz, supported by Mrs. Janoon, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Reem Nahas as an art teacher for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A3. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Fourth action item today is for the appointment of a music teacher at Hillcrest Elementary, Miss Alexandra Dumont. Miss Dumont earned her Bachelor of Music Education from the University of Michigan. She has led both high school and middle school elementary band classes with a focus on improvisation and rhythm, and completed internships at both the elementary and middle school levels, incorporating emotional development into her lessons.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Sabo.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Miss Alexandra Dumont as an elementary music teacher for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step 0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A4.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Alexandra Dumont as elementary music teacher for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step 0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A4. Is there any discussion? I have one thing, Dr. Lazar, and I apologize ahead of time. Are any of the people that we've just hired, are any of them here, and did I miss somebody prior to this?
I don't think you've missed anybody prior.
Okay.
Is
All
there
right,
one?
thank you.
I don't know.
Those that have been listed thus far.
Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And I will remember now. So hearing no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passed. And is Mrs. Demont here today?
Don't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Well, we welcome her to the Crestwood family anyways, along with our other applicants.
Action item 5, approval of third grade teacher for Hillcrest Elementary, Miss Melissa Bevin. Miss Bevin earned her bachelor degree in elementary education from Wayne State University and a Master of Arts in bilingual bicultural education from Wayne State. She has 10 years of experience as an elementary teacher with experience in the MTSS process, Project Lead the Way hands-on science instruction, and participation on numerous committees including ELA, PBIS, fundraising, and school improvement. She strives to build strong relationships with students, families, and colleagues.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Sabo.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Miss Melissa Bevin as a third grade teacher at Hillcrest Elementary for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A5.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Fawaz. I have a motion on the table made by Mr. Saba, supported by Mrs. Fawaz, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Melissa Bevin as third grade teacher at Hillcrest Elementary for the 2021-2022 school year. According to the CFT contract MA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A5. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mrs. Berry.
Yeah, I love the statement where she says she strives to build strong relationships with students, families, and colleagues. We love this, and this is our goal, and we welcome her. I'm glad to see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Is Mrs. Bevin here?
I don't see her today.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay. Action item number 6 is for an appointment of an elementary teacher at Kinlock Elementary, Miss Jody Gordon. Ms. Gordon earned her bachelor degree in elementary education from Michigan State University and a master's in educational media and technology from Eastern Michigan University. She has 10 years of teaching experience and has served as a member of ELA curriculum leadership committees and culturally responsive curriculum committees. Ms. Gordon also has experience with implementing PBIS and has led student council initiatives to promote student voice in the decision-making process in the school.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Janine.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Jody Gordon as an elementary teacher at Kinlock Elementary for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract, MA Step 6, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A6.
Support.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Janoon, supported by Mr. Saba, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Jody Gordon as an elementary teacher at Kinlock Elementary for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT contract, MA Step 6, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A6. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. And is Mrs. Gordon here? Ms. Gordon? No? Okay.
Okay, action item number 7 is approval of 5th grade teacher at Riverside Middle School, Ms. Zaina Canafer. Ms. Canafer earned her Bachelor of Education from the Lebanese American University and her master's degree in TESOL from Spring Arbor University. Ms. Canafer has 5 years of teaching experience. She's very passionate about the field of education and is extremely dedicated to and enthusiastic about serving the Crestwood community. Her focus is to incorporate inquiry-based lessons to the greatest extent possible and provide a structured and nurturing classroom environment for her students.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Fawaz.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zaina Knafer as a 5th grade teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract, MA Step 3, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5.A.7.
Support.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table from Mrs. Fawaz, supported by Mr. Saba, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zaina Canafer as a 5th grade teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract, MA Step 3, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A7. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Yes.
I'm sure that you have a plan with all these 5th grade teachers for future potential moves. Are we starting to put that org chart together or dissection of
Unofficially, yes.
unofficial? That's what I wanted to know. That's all. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Okay. Action item number 8, the appointment of 5th grade teacher at Riverside Middle School, Ms. Notion Laskar. Ms. Laskar earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in education with a major in mathematics and a minor in ESL from the University of Michigan. She has worked as a teaching assistant / math interventionist and in other education positions for the last 4 years. During her student teaching experience, she worked diligently to match instructional strategies with student developmental levels to maximize learning for all students. She's dedicated to making her classroom an equitable and inclusive environment for all students.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Fawaz?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Notion Lascar as a fifth grade teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 21-22 school year, according to the CFT contract BA0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5.A.8.
Support?
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table from Mrs. Fawaz, supported by Mrs. Berry, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Notion Lascar as a fifth grade teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A8. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, just about halfway through. Action item number 9 is the approval of a science teacher for Riverside Middle School, Miss Maureen Bordage. Ms. Bordage earned her Bachelor of Education from Michigan State University and her Master's in Education from the University of Michigan. She has 5 years of experience in the field of education and also used to serve in a long-term substitute position at Riverside Middle School. She has a high focus on using data to target instruction and plan intervention for students, as well as cultivating strong relationships and communications with families, and she's excited to be coming back.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Saba.
it's always nice to see a Spartan and a Wolverine all in one here. I'd like to recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Maureen Bordage as a science grade teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A9.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Fawaz. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, I have a motion on the table, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Maureen Bordage as a science teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA4, affecting pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A9. Any discussion? Hearing none, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Action item number 10 is the appointment of a secretary for Riverside Middle School, Ms. Kathleen Ragula. Ms. Ragula earned her Bachelor of Business Administration Management and Marketing from Northwood University. She has 8 years of experience working in secretarial roles within a school district. In addition to strong experience in PESG, SMART, and MyStar, Ms. Ragula has experience in bookkeeping, employee training and development, and maintaining school communications.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Fawaz.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Kathleen Ragula as a secretary at Riverside Middle School for the 21-22 school year, according to the secretary contract, step 4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5.A.10.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Fawaz, supported by Mr. Sabah, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Kathleen Ragula as a secretary at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the secretary contract, step 4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A10. Any discussion? I'm going to say that I think it's great to get somebody with the MyStar experience. It's always a plus, and we can afford to use that. Thank you. All those in support, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Okay, action item number 11 is for the approval of a district-wide media specialist, Miss Laura Turk. Mrs. Turk earned her Bachelor of Arts from Olivet College and her Master's in Library and Information Science from Wayne State University. She has 21 years of experience in the field of education, serving in the roles of classroom teacher, Title I resource teacher, and media specialist. She has served on several curricular committees, held the role of PLC leader, and developed and presented professional development to staff in several areas related to reading and ELA instruction. Her focus as a media specialist is to maintain a climate and culture that stimulates critical thinking, improves print and digital literacy, and promotes intellectual curiosity and growth.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Saba.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Laura Turk as the district-wide media specialist for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA-12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A11.
Support.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table from Mr. Sabah and supported by Mrs. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Laura Turk as the district-wide media specialist for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA-12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A11. Any discussion?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes, Mrs. Berry.
Actually, I just want to say that this is exciting to finally see a librarian being hired in that position, because you and I know, I think all of us know, that this has been a position that we have lacked in, and that it's going to be nice for the students to see a familiar face that they can go to, because I know there was always a lot of interchanging. So this is a really needed position, and congratulations to Ms. Turk.
I agree. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Is
Ma-
Mrs. Turk here?
She's
No, she's not, but Madam Vice President, if I just may say something really
Yes.
quick. This is I want to appreciate President Barry's statement, because people don't realize how important your media specialist is, especially with the read by third grade laws. And to help our students be critical thinkers, librarians have that skill set to help teachers build lesson plans. So we're excited to have this.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion, did I already vote on
Yeah, I
that?
was like,
Yeah,
That's okay.
thank
Better
you.
safe than sorry. No?
All right. Mrs. Berry, I'd like to say that you owe me because you've never had to read this. Okay. Go ahead,
I picked a
Dr.
good time, or my kids picked a good time.
Action item number 12, approval of a high school literacy coach, Miss Julie Jamison. Ms. Jamison earned her Bachelor of Science from Miami University, her Master's of Education from Wayne State University, and her Educational Specialist from Wayne State University. She has 20 years of experience in education. She currently serves as the English Department Chair and has also served as both the 9th and 10th grade lead teacher. In addition, Ms. Jamison is a part of district-level ELA committee, reopening committee for language arts, school improvement committee, assessment committee, and has trained in PBIS and Link Crew, facilitating both of these programs building-wide. She has sponsored student government and her building's student-led literary magazine. She has piloted reading intervention programs, served as a model classroom for Reader's Apprenticeship, and delivered professional development to colleagues on a range of educational topics. And is she here?
She is.
I think I just embarrassed her, but
Oh,
Madam Chair,
yes, Mr. Saba.
I am very impressed with this, so kudos. Great job finding such talent. I'd like to recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Julie Jamison as a high school literacy coach for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA Step 12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A12.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Fawaz. I have a motion on the table by Mr. Saba and supported by Mrs. Fawaz. that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Julie Jamison as high school literacy coach for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT contract MA Step 12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A12. Is there any other discussion?
Just a comment. I think this speaks exactly to what you've been preaching for so long, that we need top talent to really take the school district to the next level. And I just want to commend you guys. I know there's a lot here, so I want to commend you and the entire administration for going through all this and finding this talent. I think you guys are stepping up the level of what we are as a district, just with what you're doing. So kudos to the administration also.
Thank you.
Ditto. Any other comments?
Well, I don't want to say welcome, but she's already been, but congratulations.
Well, let's vote her in first.
Let's vote her in.
I agree.
All those in
She's
favor
messy.
signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you and welcome, Mrs.
Welcome.
Jamison. We look forward to having you, and I think you're going to be really happy here with the Crestwood family. We're a tight-knit group, and we really are family, so welcome.
I'm very excited to be in this position.
Thank you.
Please, if you'd like.
You're welcome to step up to the podium if you'd like.
Yes, please, so I can see the pretty faces.
She probably didn't want to do that.
I do better talking in front of
I can't
teenagers
see her.
than adults. Hi, I'm Julie Jamison. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to join the Crestwood family. I'm very, very excited to be stepping into this position and to be working for Mr. Abdelhadi and the rest of the administrative team. So, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you.
Good
And
to
we're
see you.
excited as well.
Oh, and my daughters are here too.
Oh, you gotta stand up.
One hit her face in one wave.
Oh, well, we're proud of your mom.
Welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome.
Okay, Dr.
All right.
Lazar.
Yes, action item number 13, appointment of a social studies teacher, Miss Amanda Mayatki. Ms. Mayatki has earned her bachelor in secondary social studies from Eastern Michigan University. She has served as a substitute teacher for 2 years as she completed her teacher certification and has also worked as an art studio camp counselor in the Cranbrook educational community. She's very dedicated to the profession and excited to work in the Crestwood community.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Sabo.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Amanda Miyake as a social studies teacher at Crestwood High School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A13.
Support.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Janeer. I have a motion on the table by Mr. Saba and supported by Mrs. Janeer that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Amanda Miyake as social studies teacher at Crestwood High School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA0, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A13. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is Mrs. Miyake here?
Mrs. Miyake here?
Please, come on up.
Stand up. Congratulations and welcome. Come on up to the podium.
Congratulations.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. After working at Riverside for like 2 years and then leaving and then now I'm back. I'm really happy. Thank you guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, and
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And is that, who do we have with you?
Oh, well, my mom teaches here at Riverside, and then my stepdad.
Hi.
Hello. You know, with the mask, I still can't read people's eyes. So, hi.
Wonderful.
You should be.
Welcome.
Exactly. Well,
Your mom
welcome.
can tell you it's a good place to be, so I think you're going to be real happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I worked at Riverside as a building sub, so I'm excited to follow the kids to high school now.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you, Mom.
Action item number 14, appointment of a special education resource teacher for Riverside Middle School, Miss Erica Robinson. Ms. Robinson earned a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors from Michigan State University with a dual major in language arts and learning disabilities. She earned a Master of Arts in TESOL from Cornerstone University. She is certified to teach ESL K-12, Special Education Learning Disabilities K-12, Elementary Education and Language Arts. She taught for Crestwood School District at Riverside Middle School for 5.5 years before leaving to take a position closer to home while she started her family. However, Ms. Robinson has missed the students and staff since leaving and is eager to return to the place she feels most at home. Ms. Robinson will support the educational needs of our students with disabilities in 8th grade at Riverside.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Berry.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Erica Robinson as a special education teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 21-22 school year according to the CFT Contract MA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A14.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Janu. Was it you?
Yep.
Okay. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Berry, supported by Mrs. Janu, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Erica Robinson as special education teacher at Riverside Middle School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT Contract MA Step 5, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A14. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Berry.
I just want to say that the Robinson name is very familiar. Is it the same Robinson?
No.
No.
No, we're not the speech, okay, not the speech people. Anyways, welcome.
Did they know her as Erica Streusel, Andrea? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Is Miss Robinson here?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Action item number 15, appointment of a school psychologist, Miss Michelle Jawad. Ms. Jawad earned her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Wayne State University and a Master of Arts in School and Community Psychology from Wayne State University. She has worked as a school psychologist for the past 19 years. She has a wealth of knowledge in the evaluation process and has been an integral member of the building MTSS team. Her knowledge of a wide variety of assessments and extensive knowledge assessing and supporting students and families will be a tremendous asset to our district. Ms. Jawad has worked as the Dearborn Public Library Commissioner since 2015 and has sat on the Detroit-Wayne Integrated Health Network Board of Directors since 2020.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Sabah.
I'd like to recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Michelle Jawad as a school psychologist for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT Contract MA Step 12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A15.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table from Mr. Slaba, supported by Mrs. Fawaz, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Michelle Jawad as school psychologist for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT Contract MA Step 12, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A15. Any discussion? I'd like to just reiterate what's already been said a lot tonight. Great job, administration. I mean, we're really getting quality people with lots of experience, and it's just exciting. So, hearing no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you.
Action item number 16 is a request for unpaid leave for Ms. Tigrid El-Ghazali, our middle school social worker. Ms. El-Ghazali is requesting unpaid leave for family care for the 21-22 school year.
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Berry.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the unpaid leave for Ms. Agreed Al-Ghazali for the 21-22 school year.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Berry, supported by Mrs. Janoon, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the unpaid leave of absence for Mrs. El-Ghazali for the 2021-2022 school year. Any discussion?
I just want to say that we wish her well with whatever,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yep,
yeah, she
absolutely.
has to do.
And we hope this year goes by quick and she's back with us. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Action item number 17 is the appointment of an English teacher for Crestwood High School, Mr. Craig Campbell. Mr. Campbell earned his Bachelor of Science in Sociology and Post-Baccalaureate Teaching Certificate in Special Education from Eastern Michigan University. He also earned a Master's in English Education from Brooklyn College. He has taught in a great variety of educational environments, starting out teaching preschool and going on to be a special educator in Detroit Public Schools and later teaching for the New York Public Schools. Mr. Campbell has served on several committees and led his team in a poetry slam competition, winning at the state level and going on to compete in Brave New Voices in an international competition. He promised me a poetry slam, by the way.
Good.
He believes in engaging, differentiated, project-based learning and likes to challenge students to do their absolute best.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Janoon.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Craig Campbell as an English teacher at Crestwood High School for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT contract MA Step 8, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A17.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table by Mrs. Janoon, supported by Mr. Saba, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Craig Campbell as an English teacher at Crestwood High School for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA Step 8, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A17. Any discussion? Mrs. Janoon.
I can't wait for the poetry. Let's hold them to it.
That's exciting. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Action item number 18 is the appointment of a virtual learning teacher, Ms. Zainab Zain. Ms. Zain earned her bachelor degree in education from Grand Canyon University. She also holds a CDA certificate. Ms. Zain has 11 years of experience as a classroom teacher and is extremely dedicated to supporting students towards growth. She has worked with several age groups, has a passion for math and science, and is committed to serving at-risk students.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Janoon.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zainab Zain as a virtual teacher for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT contract BA Step 4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A18.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table made by Mrs. Janoon, supported by Mrs. Fawaz, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Zainab Zain as virtual teacher for the 2021-2022 school year according to the CFT contract BA Step 4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A18. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. And is Mrs. Zane here?
No.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Our last action item for tonight is the appointment of a kindergarten teacher at Hillcrest Elementary for Ms. Sharifa Bazzi. Ms. Bazzi earned her Bachelor of Arts in Early Childhood Education and her Master's in Education with a minor in ESL from the University of Michigan. She has 6 years of experience in teaching with a passion for early childhood education. Ms. Bazzi enjoys incorporating children's literature from world cultures into her lessons and using a mix of traditional and modern teaching methods in order to enhance sensory and perceptual motor skills, language, cognition, and memory development.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Saba.
I'd like to recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Sharifa Bazzi as a kindergarten teacher at Hillcrest for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract MA4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A19.
Support.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion on the table by Mr. Sabah and supported by Mrs. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Sharifa Bazzi as kindergarten teacher at Hillcrest for the 2021-2022 school year. According to the CFT contract MA4, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. See attachment 5A19. Any discussion? Hearing none, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. And is Mrs. Bazzi here? No? Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Lazar, for all the hard work.
You sure you don't have any more? I mean,
I have 2 informational items.
all right, there we go.
So,
Don't come in next board meeting.
yeah, there's about 5 pending still,
Oh, you
at
can
least.
do more for Mrs.
I
Barry.
will. I'll save them for Miss
Thank you.
Barry. Okay.
Can't
Right.
wait.
Our first informational item is a change in assignment for Miss Marwa Hyder. Miss Hyder's assignment will be to the high school, I'm sorry, that should say math coach position. I apologize, that's a typo. Miss Hyder has been a part of the Crestwood team for 14 years. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics as well as a Master's of Science in Educational Leadership. She has served as a PSYOP coach and has been an active participant in departmental PLCs and creating common assessments. Ms. Hyder has also served on the leadership team supporting school and district school improvement efforts and the district's curriculum council.
So it's supposed to be math, not literacy.
It's supposed to be math, I apologize, that's my
Okay.
It
typo.
was,
Uh,
no, it was,
Can I-
you were right.
It's supposed
You were
to be
right,
numeracy.
President Barry. It was supposed to be numerous.
Numeracy, I'm
yes,
sorry.
That's what I called him today and I said, hold on, I'm confused here.
It's the numeracy, coach, I apologize.
Okay.
Should be
Okay.
numerous.
But
Makes sense.
can I just comment, please?
Sure.
Okay, I did have a discussion with Dr. Masalam today. I just want to say that I can't wait to see the data that comes out of this, because this is new to us. And I'm hoping that, I know that we will be getting the data, not right away, but soon. And it's going to be positive, so that's what I'm hoping for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the second informational item is another change in assignment for Mr. Anthony Marjanovic. Mr. Marjanovich's assignment is going to be changed to the 9th grade lead teacher. Mr. Marjanovic has been a Crestwood Charger for 9 years. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education and a Master's in Special Education. He has earned the distinction of NHS Teacher of the Year Award in 2020 and CHS Grand Marshal Honors in 2017. Mr. Marjanovic has taught multiple subject areas, including senior seminar, where he had students apply to colleges, scholarships, and complete post-secondary life projects. Through coaching, Mr. Marjanovic has focused on building strong relationships with students and the Crestwood community.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Thank you.
Yes.
can I
Mr.
make a
Saba.
comment?
Absolutely.
To the general public and to the administration, I've known Mr. Marjanovic for quite some time, and I'm around him quite a bit. And if I can tell you, if there is a picture of what a teacher does in building relationships with students, this guy would be the poster child for it. So I just, he's a phenomenal human being, and I see so much passion and how much he cares for these kids. I don't think you could have picked a better person, to be honest with you. So kudos to that. Congratulations to Mr. Marjanovic, because he is, by the way, he's been a Crestwood Charger longer than 9 years.
I'm sorry.
He was a Crestwood
All his
graduate
life.
also.
Sorry.
I went through an old filing room not too long ago as a part of the football, and I found trophies and pictures with his pictures on it on the hockey team and football team. So congratulations, Mr. Marjanovic, well-deserved and great find by you guys and Mr. Abdulhadi. So thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mrs. Berry?
If I may, I just want to say, I totally agree with Mr. Saba. definitely a ball of energy, positive vibes to the students, and looking forward to seeing what he will do for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mrs. Janu?
I want to say congratulations to Ms. Hyder as well, but I also would like to
Absolutely.
congratulate Mr. Marjanovic, because I've yet to see a child leave his class that does not just, I mean, like, they love him. So I'm excited for Crestwood, so congratulations to both of them.
Two very good picks.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you again, Dr. Lazar, for all your hard work.
Yes. I just want to say it's only 8:05, so if you need to add anything else to the agenda.
I have a couple phone calls waiting.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah, go ahead, Mrs. Fawaz.
Well, I was gonna say, we have to add the masks to the agenda.
Yes, I'd like to make an addition to the agenda.
We could add it to the action item under the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to discuss the mask, and go ahead, Dr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Vice President Kaminsky, and thank you to the board and to the community, and welcome to all the new Crestwood family and team members. We really look forward to getting this school year started and getting things rolling and illustrating the great things that are to come. So welcome those that are here, and welcome to all those that aren't here. You'll get to hear me at my superintendent's welcome this Thursday. Vice President Kaminsky, we discussed in our study session about masks, whether to move our masks from strongly recommended to mandated. I made the recommendation that we start the school year out with it mandated and evaluate every 2 weeks at each board meeting to identify what our status is as a county and as a state. Currently, we are rated at a level D, E being the worst, and that is because our positivity rate has been over 70, as was in the information that I shared with the board during the study session. We as a school district make this recommendation understanding that there are going to be two sides to the story. That for every one person that dislikes mask mandates, there will be somebody else that likes the mandate. I would like the public to know that this is not a decision or a recommendation that it was taken lightly. See, currently, we as a board, we are 6 feet apart. You know, therefore, that is why we do not have to have our masks on. And in situations where the students are 6 feet apart, they won't have to either. Where in situations that they're 3 feet apart, they will have to. With this in mind, it's also that when students will be getting multiple mask breaks, teachers can adjust how instruction is being done, how groupings are made. So there will be some, additional adjustments made by teachers to support the students in the process. We also understand that, we don't want to be the mask police. And I'm going to be blunt when I say this. I want to be completely transparent. We want to remind students on a regular basis that they should be wearing their mask and why they should be wearing their mask. But we don't want that to take away from instruction and learning. So it's a balance. It's a balance with school administration. It's a balance with the teachers. But it's also, us looking at currently where we are. We know that the community, this is a national discussion. This is an international discussion. This isn't just a discussion here at the Crestwood schools, nor Wayne County or Michigan, but across the U.S. Many school districts have started prior to us. Many school districts go throughout the summer, and they've been facing challenges that we know we're going to face as well. But what I'd like to say is that in looking at the mask mandate, it's also keeping in mind that it is something that I want to reemphasize, that is something that we can reevaluate every 2 weeks. And if we go from a level D down to a level C, we can make that adjustment. Additionally, mid-September, by the end of the second week of September, we will have hit the 60-day mark for the Delta variant. According to all the So, you know, there is a possibility that by the second week of September, we could start seeing numbers go down. This is something that's being said by the scientists. This is not something that I'm just coming up with. I'm not an epidemiologist, I'm not a scientist, but I have to give the recommendation that I feel is what is in the best case for our students. But I would like the public and the board to know that whatever decision is made, we will support. We will help our parents navigate through this. We will help our students and our teachers and everyone navigate through this. As I put in my welcome back letter to the staff, every night I go to bed praying the pandemic is gone in the morning. But when I wake up in the morning and it's still there, I put my shoes on 1 foot at a time, just like everyone else, and I'm optimistic that we're going to get through this. We have done a phenomenal job as a community and as a district in this last, year and a half, 2 years almost, dealing with this pandemic. This is not something that any of us want. We also understand that we have students entering our high school that are juniors that have only been there for a couple weeks thus far. We have students entering our middle school that have never even been in our middle school, and they're going to be 7th and 8th graders. And we have students entering 2nd grade who spent kindergarten and 1st grade in a virtual setting. We understand this. We are taking all these variables into consideration. No matter what decision is made, we know that we're going to have individuals that will be unhappy with the decision that we make. We will support whatever decision is made, and we will do our best as a team to help everyone navigate through this. So I'm asking that the board place as an action item on the agenda under the superintendent's report to discuss and to vote whether we will maintain strongly recommended or a mask mandate with some parameters.
Thank you, Dr. Masalam. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair?
Mrs. Fawaz?
I don't know how we want to read it, but I would just say, I recommend that the Crestwood School District mandate masks 100%, and it be evaluated
Every 2 weeks?
every 2 weeks, or every board meeting, might be the better language.
Okay.
Madam Chair, can we add to that we get updates on any cases so we know which way we're moving?
Yes, thank you.
Of course, I do want to add my apologies. We will update the board on the CDC and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services updates, but by law, we have to update the community on any positive COVID cases in our schools, so that will always be reported to the board as well as on our website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you have support.
With that, I support.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. I have a motion on the table that the Crestwood School District mandate mask wearing at 100% and to evaluate at every board meeting the status as a county and state. Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Madam,
Mr. Saba?
I'm so reluctant. I would only ask this, that in 2 weeks, that there is a contingency plan, that if we are going to continue wearing masks, that we have something for these parents and these students that don't want to wear masks. Some kind of option, segregation in the room. I hate to use the word segregation because it not only has a negative connotation, but it's a negative word. But some kind of separation for the parents. I mean, we're so close to the start of school year. It's kind of really difficult to do this right now. But I'm reluctant in even considering it because of that. But I would ask the administration to please consider those parents that don't want this masking. And I respect, everybody's opinions, but if we can have some kind of contingency plan in 2 weeks for those that don't, if we need to continue to maintain this policy, that they have options. I don't want to take away their options. It's just not fair.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Madam
discussion?
I do want to comment. It's unfortunate that we as a board have to make this mistake. I was hoping that this would come down from the governor's office and not from us, because we know that this is a very difficult, and I agree with Mr. Saba. This is a very difficult decision, but we have to do what's best for all.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. Mrs. Janu?
So I'm going to reiterate what I had said early on during the study session. I know that immediately after the study session, I'm sure once everybody checks their email, they will see that we received an email from somebody within the community, I'm not sure if she has children in the district or not, but that, wants us to mandate it based on the fact that if we aren't going to do it, that, the death of a child could potentially be, on our hands. At the end of the day, I know this comes down to politics sometimes, not for everybody, but I know that a lot of the conversations and the way that things have gone back and forth, and I am not against people wearing masks, I'm not against people being vaccinated, because in that email it went back and forth between being an anti-masker means you're an anti-vaxxer, and this is, for me, you can't make a blanket statement, and this is a tough decision. I personally feel like Mr. Saba does, that it's difficult because, first of all, you're not going to make everybody happy, and we do have children in the district that cannot wear a mask. So I think that we now, have to worry about those kids. And then I also worry about some of our teachers who are going to have to stand in front of the classroom for 8 hours a day and teach. Is there something for them that, if they need a break while they're teaching? I mean, I was in this building for 7-8 hours today, and it was really difficult. It was really hot. So I'm concerned about the teachers in fifth grade on that 3rd floor, standing in front of, I don't know how they feel. I mean, I'm sure that there are staff that are perfectly okay with wearing it, but what about those teachers, that it's when it's 100 degrees in their classroom? And then I go back to saying that which I know we couldn't offer the virtual to everybody because we wouldn't have been able to staff it, but we closed out the option for virtual before mandating the masks. So for families that didn't want to mask their children, now they're forced to mask their children. So I've got to weigh both. It's not just about one decision or the other. There's both sides, and it's difficult no matter what we decide.
Thank you, Mrs. Janoon. Mrs. Foz, did you have anything?
No, I mean, honestly, it is, like everyone said, it's a very difficult decision. It'd have been much easier on us if it was just mandated from the state. I'm not 100% for, I'm not 100% against. Unfortunately, we can't have everybody make their own choice. We gotta be consistent. So, I agree with everyone. It's a difficult decision, but just trying to keep everyone safe.
Okay, and so I don't feel left out here. I also think it's a very hard decision, and it's not one that's going to make everybody happy. Unfortunately, there's going to be people on both sides of this scale. We have discussed this. Back in July, we didn't think it was going to be an issue, and now unfortunately the numbers have gone up, so it is an issue. So I just would like the district, and however we vote on this, to be sympathetic to the board and know that we are not doing this lightly to administration. Obviously, we're all here for the same reason, and it's tough. It's not as easy as it looks to just say yes or no on a motion. So having said that, no more discussion. All those in favor of mandated masks, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you, Board. I'd just like to say that, yes, we will be continuing our evaluation of our virtual plan and have a contingency plan prepared for the case that if if we have to continue with masks for a longer expected period of time, we will have something available. I do want to say, though, that anyone that has a medical condition that cannot wear a mask, if they supply that medical information to our school offices and our school nurse, adjustments can be made if there are medical conditions. So I would like the community and the board to know that.
Are we going to allow for visors in replacement of masks?
We can allow for any type of face covering.
Do we have visors for children that may want a visor?
We do not. We have just the masks, but we do not have visors.
Okay.
If I may, I'm sorry, Madam
Mrs.
Chair.
Berry.
I know that Mr., help me with his name, why can't I think right now? They
Mr.
made them
Marabias.
for hospitals and such.
Mr. Mayor
I'm
Beers.
wondering, Mayor Bias, I apologize.
That's okay.
Maybe we can get the robotics team to get some ready in case there are
I was gonna
students
say, I
that,
have,
We can do
that,
that.
I
you know,
have a
want
large
them.
box of over 200 that I would be willing to donate if you need it.
Thank
Close
you.
to 200.
We'll take them.
I
Thank you.
got them the beginning of the pandemic, and so I can bring those to the administration office.
We will take them. Thank you, trustee Sabo. And we will reach out to Mr. Mayor Bias to see if he can make that as an additional project for his students, as we did
Thank
last
you.
year. Yes, thank you. Very, very good suggestion. Thank you both.
And Dr. Masalim, since 2 weeks from now is Labor Day, and we would like to reevaluate this every 2 weeks. If the numbers change, the board obviously would be open to having a special meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Definitely
Thank
will
you.
do. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I will keep the board, so CDC, and they update those numbers every Thursday.
Mhm.
So each Thursday, we'll pull up those numbers and I'll share them.
Okay.
Sorry, I am looking between different things. So just some informational items. First off, as the board and the staff are aware, we start our staff returns this Thursday, many of whom have already returned and been in school for multiple days doing things, so we appreciate that. But our whole staff returns this Thursday, and we start our day with a voluntary optional breakfast starting at 7 a.m. The day officially begins at 8 a.m., where I will be giving my superintendent's message for the first time in person to all of the staff here at Riverside Middle School. So breakfast will be in the cafe for staff and the board, of course. And then my message to the staff will be at 8 o'clock. Hopefully we'll conclude by 8:30. Thursday and Friday are full days of professional learning. We have left that professional learning in the hands of the building so that they can use that time based around their school improvement plans. So now all professional learning is based around the needs of the schools. As a district, we are not going to commandeer that time unless there is a need for specific things, but this year, no. And all of the building principals have submitted their plans to us, and they fit their school improvement plan. So we're looking forward to 2 days of professional learning. The first day of school for students is August 30th. It is a half day. Then the next day we come back for a full day. We take that into Thursday, and then we're off for Labor Day weekend, and we come back on the Tuesday following. Also, I'm excited to say that the sports season has begun. We have our first football game this Thursday, soccer game this Friday, girls basketball, I believe, tomorrow night. I don't have it off the top of my head, but so things are getting rolling there. I want to thank all of our coaches and everyone who volunteers their time to help our children. And finally, I want to reiterate, no decision is made lightly. I can't wait for the beginning of the school year when we don't have to have this conversation. And please know that we will take any suggestions. We like suggestions. People come up with things that we didn't think of. I have parents and students and staff who send me emails, did you think of this? And sometimes my response is, we did, and this is why we can't. Or, we didn't, let me look into it. And I've always responded. I want the parents of our community to know that we will continue to assess the situation and make adjustments as needed. Also, with our virtual programming, we will develop a contingency plan in the case that this mask mandate is extended. Please know that we're not saying everything is a done deal. With our current virtual plan, we have to staff that and get that ready. I'd like the community to know the most difficult thing with the virtual learning is staffing. Making sure that there's enough teachers to teach our students in the building as well as to teach our students virtually. We're lucky because we have ESSER funding, the funding that came down from the federal government from this whole COVID pandemic, And we're gonna be able to use ESSER 3 funding to support us with our first round of virtual learning. And as we continue to look, but we also have to keep in consideration, there's a teacher shortage out there. We were lucky that we were able to hire 19 new people for our district. It's still difficult to find teachers. There's a teacher shortage. And, the days of, hundreds and hundreds of teachers coming out of the university ready to teach, those days were a long time ago. So not only with the pandemic, but we also have this teacher shortage. So please know as a community, and I know the board knows this, but please know as a community, we're trying to balance that. We're trying to balance the pandemic, we're trying to balance the teacher shortage, and we're also trying to balance that our teachers are taken care of, but we also have the best teachers in front of our children. So these are multiple balances that we are shouldering. So please know, no decision we make is an easy decision. And we thank you for your patience. This community's patience was phenomenal and has been phenomenal, and we ask for your continued patience. And know that our ears are not closed and our doors are not closed. We will continue to reassess and adjust. So thank you.
Dr. Masalim.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time of the meeting, we will take public comments.
Ms. Kaminsky,
Yes.
can we have Ms. Janoon read the statement so we don't go over in time?
Yes.
So, this meeting of the board is held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. This is not the time for debate or argument. Do not mention any student or staff names. In order to permit a fair allotment of time to participants, speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The president may extend this time to 5 minutes per person when needed. Up to a half an hour is provided for input. Direct all questions to the board president.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Shammy, and do we have a timer?
Yes.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi,
How are
my name
you?
is, good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So, my name is Mrs. Shammy. I have children both in the high school and elementary school. Guess, I was hoping for a larger turnout, both for or against mask mandates, whatever it was. I was just hoping people would show up. We've come to a conclusion. We're gonna mandate masks. I guess I'm flustered at this point only because I was hopeful that we would be able to start the school off without masks. We'd be able to get our kids back into a normal routine. They've been home for a year and a half. My high schoolers, I can kind of send them off and they can deal with it. They're a little bit more tolerant. My elementary school student is not happy about it, does not want to go to school with a mask on. He has voiced his concern. He'd rather stay home. That's also not an option because staying home was not beneficial to him. I can say, as hard as I tried to keep him on track, he's probably behind this year. So it is concerning, it's bothersome. Like I said, I'm so upset right now. I'm shaking because, we want to give CDC numbers and everything, but I guess my biggest concern would be like with CDC numbers and the coronavirus with children, CDC numbers for flu season with children are higher than coronavirus. The amount of positive cases we have and the amount of deaths we have during flu season. So are we going to mask our kids up for the entire year? Because if you say come September, the numbers of, or we may, with the Delta variant, we may have reached that, percentage or whatever, but then flu season starts. So, here I jotted down a million things I would like to say, but, so according to the CDC, as of August 19th, we had 4.5 million children that tested positive for COVID. That's 0.008%, or give or take. I may be a little off with that. So that's about 340 deaths amongst children as of just a couple days ago. The CDC numbers for the flu are 480 kids that die from the flu. That was what was reported in the flu season of the year we took our kids out of school. So we have a higher death rate of children from the flu than we do of COVID-19. Yet we are going to mask our children up because we fear they may get COVID and be okay from it. I mean, I'm not sure who we're protecting, because adults can get vaccinated. So we're not really so worried about the kids bringing it home to the adults, because the adults can get vaccinated. They have that choice. The children cannot. Our elementary school children cannot get vaccinated. So am I worried about them bringing it home, or am I really worried about them getting sick? Because the numbers show that it's not the children we're really trying to protect here, because they'll be safe. They're fine. The numbers are not against them. So if the parents and the faculty want to get vaccinated to, secure themselves against getting hospitalized or bringing it home to their elderly parent, get vaccinated. Keep yourself safe. The reality is these kids are going to be wearing a mask that has snots and spit and dirt and all of this other stuff that's going to make them sick. How about, instead of worrying about them wearing a mask, how about we incorporate things into their daily life to teach them about how to stay healthy? Get rid of healthy breakfast or unhealthy breakfasts that have a million ingredients in it that are actually, FDA will tell you they cause cancer. But we're feeding it to our kids every day, and we're bringing them to school, and we're feeding that to them every single day for breakfast, lunch, and then they go home. They don't get exercise. Our gym classes have become a joke. Do they
Mrs.
run?
Shannon, I'm sorry, but.
My time is up.
Yeah,
So
you're over
I'm
4
just,
minutes.
and I know, like you said, I wish it would have came down from the governor's office, because as of right now, I don't feel that we should have made that mandate. I don't feel as a district that should have been something that we put into place.
And I appreciate your comments, Mrs. Shanny. I assure you, we did not take this lightly. It's very hard to have to make a decision that encompasses the entire student population. So we do appreciate it. We did listen. As you could hear, none of us are gung-ho, and we all wanted to start the school year normal.
Yeah,
Just normal.
and, like I said, September's gonna come, then October, then flu season, and starting off this way is just basically, it's gonna continue.
Hopefully, it's gonna go down, and we'll be able to change this in 2 weeks when we reevaluate it. But thank you.
Thank you.
Was there any other comments? No other comments?
Actually, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I don't know if, someone had called me that they were trying to call in today. I didn't realize that they actually couldn't. So I don't know if she sent David an email. Did we want to still address it that way, or?
Yeah, we can.
Did you want to read the email, David? Or?
She left her number if we wanted to call, but I know we weren't doing that. I don't know.
Okay.
If you're gonna do that, you need to do that for the entire.
Well, that's true, when we said it was closed.
If you want to just forward the email to my office and we can respond if you'd like.
I mean, we can read it.
We could read the
Okay,
email.
you can do that
We
too.
have it now.
It's fair.
Just the phone number.
Oh,
Can we give that to Dr. Masalim?
yeah,
to reach
can
out
we
to her?
have Dr. Masalim reach out to her? And I apologize to the audience, but it is an open meeting. We did announce it prior to the meeting, and then I made the announcements during the study session. So it's not that we don't want to or value your opinion, we do, but we can't offer it to one and not everybody. So thank you very much.
And Mr. Green, just forward that to me and we will give her a call.
Thank you, I appreciate it,
You're very
Dr.
welcome,
Masalim.
of course.
Okay, any comments by the board? Mrs. Fawaz?
Thank you. I know it was a difficult day. I did have questions. So I know the kids did their IDs today, so I'm assuming they get that like on their first days, right?
Correct.
And then.
It may not be the exact first day, but there will be a distribution.
Okay, and then do they carry that like all day with them, or?
They're supposed to have it on them all day, every day, and when it's asked for, they're supposed to present it. Now, I will say, it's gonna take some time to get students into that habit. A couple of reasons. Number one, pandemic, we haven't been here. But number two, I think in the past, it wasn't really enforced. It
But what-
will be something that is enforced coming this year, and
So like what do fifth graders actually need it for?
It's just just so when you're in the building, if there's a situation or if there's a question or a student is lost, it just makes it easier. Where's your ID? Let me see who you are. And then,
Okay.
it's also for safety, to
Okay.
ensure that whoever's in the building is supposed to be in the building.
They can't like pay on their lunch or anything with their ID?
These IDs, I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I have to double check. Please forgive me. Let me double check that. Penny,
And then,
Are you providing lanyards for the kids to be able to wear
Yeah.
all day?
they should be, yes.
I believe they can swipe their ID for during lunch.
number.
Yes. So
Okay.
they either know their ID number by heart or they can swipe or scan their card, which the barcode on the ID is their ID number, their student ID number. So that's how they identify their lunch account and stuff like that, so.
Thank you.
Okay, and then my next question, their schedules. I know a lot of people were under the impression they were gonna get it today, but will they get that? I know I saw one piece of literature that said orientation was Thursday, but then I saw Friday, right? Today I saw that it was Friday. So do they get their schedules Friday morning during their orientation?
So I have to look back at what the principal sent. I don't have it off the top of my head. I know I shared something with the boards. I have to look back at that. I do know that they're planning on having everything in MyStar or Parent Connect and Student Connect, where every student just pull it up on their phone and see their schedule. So I don't know when they're printing and passing out, if they're planning that, or if it's just gonna be you pull it up and you have access to it. But I have to look back at the.
How soon in MyStar?
Oh, it should be they're hoping, their goal is by this Friday. That's their goal. Because when we moved from trimester to semester, that slowed things down. Because we had to adjust the schedules from a 3-pronged approach to a 2-pronged approach, also from a 5-hour day to a 6-hour day. So it took time to build those schedules.
Okay, and then buses and transportation. I know the cards went out today, and I think most people probably got theirs today. Are kids, they probably have to take their cards on the bus for, just the first time? And then are they limited to just what's on that card, or if there's a closer stop to their house that they find, can they go on that bus instead, or how does that work?
It's gotta go off the card. If they requested a change, they have to contact transportation directly and request that change, but usually the changes won't happen because of the bus routes. The other issue we have to keep in mind too is Dean Transportation is doing a really nice job of trying to clean things up, but they're short bus drivers as well. Just like we're having a hard time finding teachers, they're having a hard time finding bus drivers. So they're doubling up some runs, and what they do when they put those cars is to help with their runs. Now, if they get more bus drivers, things could change, but right now it's based on a bus driver shortage.
Okay, and then virtual will start the same day as face-to-face?
Everything is the same.
Okay.
And and the goal is that by this week, all the students that are signed up for virtual will be contacted.
Okay. And lastly, the issue with the person you call or follow up from the email, part of it was about virtual, and I think they said they didn't get the email. So I'm not sure if they contacted the board office today and provided a secondary email, just so, this doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
But they did want virtual, but I'm sure you'll handle
Yeah.
that offline then.
I'll follow up, and I will say that in the month of June, we sent out multiple messages to families, not just via email, but through other means, to check your email address and all your contact information, because that's how we contacted everyone, was what they put in MyStar. And
Well,
through-
she verified the email, she said, with whoever she spoke
Okay.
to, and it was correct, but she said she added just a secondary one.
Yeah, I'll double check.
Okay. And other than that, I think I'm good.
No, you're welcome. And I do know the principals in the schools have been sending out information about schedules and orientation. So I have a meeting with the principals tomorrow, and I'll reiterate to get that information out again.
Do they walk the kids through their schedule at orientation?
I have to verify with the principals. I don't want to say something wrong here, and then, because each school might be doing something a little different, and they may be doing some things differently per grade level. So I don't want to, I don't want to answer incorrectly, and then it causes confusion. So I will tomorrow have the principals reach out to all of the, send out another notification on what the schedule is planning to be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Felons. Mrs. Janu?
No, I think I'm okay. I just, I can't, just praying for a smooth start to our school year. Hopefully everybody stays safe and healthy, and just know that I used to be the parent who would stand at the podium, and it's much different sitting in this seat, and I think it's actually harder than when I would go up to that podium and have my moment to be able to express myself. It's a little harder sitting up here, so know that I'd much rather be over there sometimes. But I just want to say good luck to our teachers and our staff and our custodians and all of our admin and our students, and I just can't wait for this year to start and hope everything goes smoothly. So, and
Thank you.
congratulations to all of our new hires today.
Yes, congratulations.
Absolutely. Mr. Sabah?
Yeah, I'll just keep this as positive as I can. I think everybody knows. Thank Ms. Shammy for her comments today. I'm sure a lot of people have the same sentiment. I do want to congratulate. So I saw some social media on some former students of the Crestwood School District, one of them being Ms. Jawad, Zainab Jawad's
Oh, yes.
daughter, receiving her white coat at Stanford.
Yep.
Another is Mr. Morgan Hamoud's daughter at Michigan State, all former Crestwood students. So congratulations to all of them. I know they're making all of us very proud, and at the end of the day, that's what we aspire for all the children to do, whatever that they choose, to make most importantly, make themselves happy, but, to show that the education here at the Crestwood School District is going to take them anywhere they want to go. That's all I have. Tough meeting.
It was a tough meeting.
Tough meeting.
Thank you for your comments and your input. I appreciate it. Mrs. Beard?
Yes, I just wanted to welcome everybody back. Praying for a good year, good start, healthy year for all, and that's all I can say for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm just going to echo what everyone else said because it makes me look good, so thank you. And thank you all for joining us for the meeting. I hope to see more of you come into our meetings again. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Support.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll support Ms. Berry's motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Berry and support by Mr. Sabah to adjourn at 8:42. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much and have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.